and we will deal with all your queries at the end of this session. This session will be recorded for future reference, and we'll be sharing the link with you. And before doing any delay, I would like to invite Sanjay for this session. Over to you, Sanjay.
Thanks, Niranjan. Really appreciate you having me here. Welcome everyone to the webinar session for course information about the University of Tasmania. Just want to check real quick. Can you guys hear me clearly?
It's a little bit slow, a little lag, but I can hear you clearly, but there's a little lag.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
All right. Okay. I'm just going to turn off my video so that
I
the
think
lag
we might do that.
reduces.
Yeah, I'll turn off mine and Niranjan will turn off his as well.
Okay.
I think that will assist with the audio.
Yeah. Is it better right now? I think it is.
Yes, correct.
Okay, perfect. So to start out, now the University of Tasmania, as Niranjan said, is one of the oldest universities to provide you with an idea of the various courses and what we are looking at from you as our partners for future development of the university in the strategic direction that we want to move.
Hi, Sanjay.
Now, we do have several programs.
I think you're breaking up a little.
Classically wanted by a lot of students, such as IT, business.
Hi, Sanjay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, I can. It's just lagging a little bit. Maybe. So is your internet strong there?
Yeah, it is. I think it's because when the electricity goes off, it connects to my phone automatically. So
Okay.
I think it just switched back to the normal internet now. So I think it should be fine.
Okay.
Clear now. Yeah, we can hear clear now.
It's clear now. It's really clear now. Maybe try to stick on this this internet here.
Yeah, well,
yes.
You know, India's electricity isn't up to me, so I'll do my best.
Okay.
All
Sure.
right.
Sure.
All right.
Sanjay, this is perfect. This is perfect. It's good now.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, guys. So just taking you through today, I'm just going to go through the courses at the university and what strategic direction we're looking at moving in, in terms of what students we're looking at to help the university's diversity, as well as, for us as recruiters to improve the quality of students that we're sending through to the university. All right, so basically speaking, there are 4 main faculties under which all the sub-faculties fall into. There is the Faculty of Science and Engineering, Faculty of Business, Faculty of Arts, Law and Education, and the Faculty of Health and Medicine. So first I'm going to start with Architecture and Design, which is under the Faculty of Science and Engineering. Now, at the bachelor's level, we've got an Architecture and Built Environments program. In Australia, the program is usually for a period of 3 years, as is in the University of Tasmania. Now, after completing a Bachelor's of Architecture in Australia, a student does not get the eligibility to practice as an architect. What they can do is work in an architectural firm or under planners or regional construction managers, etc. And once they finish their Masters of Architecture, which is also a course that is available at the university, they are eligible to apply for their license and practice as an architect. Another very, I would say, unique program that is available at the university, and this is a program available only in 2 universities in Australia, is the Masters of Planning. A Masters of Planning degree, though it does sound like a program that architects would usually get into, it is not that. Yes, architects can get into this program. There are various aspects of architecture that drip into this, but also students with a background in civil and structural engineering, students with a background in environmental sciences, or just pure sciences can get into a Masters of Planning degree. What is the USP, or what is the unique point about a planning degree? It is a professional degree, just like engineering. So once a student completes a Masters of Planning, they will get a professional registration with the PIA, which is the Planning Institute of Australia. We were the first we were the first university in Australia to be given teaching rights by the Planning Institute of Australia, which automatically gave us an industry advantage over many other universities that we've built in the form of networks and connections across the Australian government, as well as many multinational private companies. This could be in the form of regional planning companies, could be in the form of construction companies, and several other bodies within the Australian government that focus on better policy and better sustainable development for the future through infrastructure. Planning is one of those hidden areas in or a hidden field in Australia's educational system that not too many people speak about. So today, I definitely want you guys to be taking a Masters of Planning back to your students. It's a great opportunity in terms of studying and broadening your horizons, but also has a great opportunity in terms of work. Since there are only 2 universities in Australia that are teaching this planning degree, since there are only 2 universities in Australia that are teaching this planning degree, there is a huge dearth of jobs, or a huge dearth of people going into these jobs, but a huge demand. So by recruiting for these particular programs, you are not only trying to fulfill a unique course aspect in your own diversification portfolio, but also helping a student go into a very short field of occupation. The Masters of Planning does also come with professional placement as a part of the program. So all our students, since the inception of this program, have gotten placed as soon as they've graduated, or in some cases, even before graduating. Masters of Planning has a median salary of the database of students over the past year at around $78,000 per year. The range goes all the way up to 135, which was our highest paid student that was picked up in the year 2020. All right, progressing on to our next faculty, which is business and economics. We've got a huge variety of programs here as well. Now, under the bachelor's level, we've got a bachelor's of business and a bachelor's of economics. For a student who is absolutely interested in economics, this is an excellent program for them to get into. It gives them a wide array of job opportunities, once again, in the form of getting into management consultancy, getting into econometrics, database management. It helps them get into various in banks and other financial institutions as well, because a huge amount of students who study data, finance, and economics would be studying this particular program. If a student is not absolutely sure that economics is the way forward for them, there is a bachelor's of business option that does a major in economics as well. So in this way, a student can do subjects within business and also take a major in economics. We've got a huge number of specializations under this particular bachelor's of business. We've got accounting, finance, human resource management, marketing, IT management, etc. So quite a few specializations there. Now, we do have a bachelor's of hospitality and tourism management as well, but the entry for that is through TAFE Tasmania. So the student would have to apply for a 2-year advanced diploma of hospitality or tourism management, whatever their preference is, to TAFE, Tasmania. And after they complete those 2 years, they'd be doing a 2-year program at the university, which is their bachelor's in hospitality management or tourism management. Progressing on to the master's level, we've got 4 programs that are 2 years in length under the School of Business for masters. We've got an MBA International, which is a freshers MBA, to which a lot of students usually apply to. So I'm not going to go too much into detail about that. We've got a Master's of Professional Accounting as well. And these students would be coming to you and asking you for professional accounting anyway. The programs that I would like to, put some weight on is the Masters of Finance with a specialization and the Masters of Marketing Management Advanced. When a student applies for a Masters of Finance with a specialization, especially if that specialization is in data management, they have a huge opportunity to get into the financial institutions of Australia once again. Students graduating this particular program have shown more than a 95% success rate at the university. Let me also just quickly tell you how we measure success rates. When a student graduates the university, we are in touch with them for a period of 3 months after they form before they form a permanent part of the alumni network. But for those 3 months, we keep track of them. We ask them whether they've gotten their job, what's the update, etc. And after 3 months, we don't know. So after graduating, within 3 months, 95% of our students have gotten jobs after completing a Master's of Finance with a specialization in data management. This is higher than students completing an MBA or a professional accounting as well. The kind of jobs a Masters of Finance student would get would be in banks, insurance firms, equity firms, venture capitalist firms, and if they get into management consulting, they'll be working primarily under fields of mergers and acquisitions, competition law, etc. So they form a part of a larger network of finance and financial development, financial modeling, etc. for that particular company once they complete this program. We've got a lot of big companies that are tied up with our business school that usually come in to recruit students from our finance program because of this unique specialization that we offer in data management. All right. The other program is a Masters of Marketing Management Advanced that I wanted to talk to you about. Now, this is a very unique program in the sense that the subjects offered under this are usually not offered in any other university as far as our research has, as far as we've checked out other university course structures. The Masters of Marketing Management enables a student to get into a variety of marketing fields, be it digital marketing, contemporary marketing, social media marketing, etc. Whatever it is. We have a huge array of programs or specializations and subjects and electives to assist the students in their goals when they are looking at marketing as their major field for the future. All right. Proceeding forward, under the School of Arts, Law and Education, we have Communication and Media. At the bachelor's level, we've got a Bachelor's of Media. Essentially, a student who wants to study anything related to communication, media, or journalism would get into this program. So be it investigative journalism, food journalism, travel journalism, or whether the media they're trying to get into is branding, advertising, whatever the kind of media house they want to get into, UTAS provides that baseline for them. And if you've seen the way Australian media companies are growing in numbers and size and the sheer amount of presence they have, media is once again a great opportunity for students. We've had a quite high increase from countries like Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka for a Bachelor's of Media, and over the past 3 years, and in India is slowly picking up as well. Definitely more number of students coming into the media program today than in 2016 and 17 from India. So media is one of those hidden gems that not too many universities talk about, even if they do have. But I think it's a great opportunity for students, especially who are interested in the digital arts and so on. Strategic Communication is a master's program. We've got different specializations under strategic communication. Right now, it is a 1.5-year program, but we're looking at making it a 2-year program in the coming year or so. But still, yes, a great opportunity for students to get into a strategic communication program. Though I would wait for it to become 2 years before talking about it to the students. If you do have students coming in asking you about communication and media degrees, journalism degrees, opportunities in that particular field, this is a great course for you to present to them. All right. Computing and IT, which is another sub-faculty under a faculty of science and engineering. We've got a bachelor's of ICT, which is information and communication technology, and a master's of IT. Now, we've got a huge number of specializations under the BICT and under the master's as well. Under the bachelor's level, it's probably around 7 or 8 specializations. We cover almost everything under the sun, be it artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, data sciences, business analytics, all the major ones, and a couple of other interesting ones as well. And at the master's level, we cover all that and more. So once again, a huge number of specialization options in IT for students. Nothing specific for me to talk about in these 2 courses because you would have students walking into your office asking you about IT anyway. So these are options that we offer. All right. Progressing further into education and teaching. Under the School or the College of Arts, Law and Education, we've got 3 degrees under the Bachelor's of Education, which is early childhood, primary and secondary. And at the master's level, we've got a Master's of Teaching. Now, the essential difference between a degree in education and a degree in teaching is that usually when you get into an education degree, you have the option of whether you want to go into the teaching side or whether you want to stay on the policy side, management side of things, whether you want to get into administrative work, you want to do social work in the form of education, create policy and change, etc. under that, or whether you want to get into teaching. But when it comes to a Master's of Teaching, it is a licensing degree basically. So you study this degree, a Master's of Teaching, to become a teacher in Australia. So that's that. Though we have had keen interest in these particular programs over the years, where students falter or are not able to cut through is the English requirement. And if you see here, the English requirement is a 7.5, no less than 7, listening and speaking 8, which is the same for a Master's of Teaching as well. So yeah. Okay, proceeding on to engineering. This is one of our bigger faculties. We've got once again, an ultra variety of engineering. I'm going to divide engineering into 2 sides to explain this better. I'm going to divide it into engineering provided by the College of Engineering directly and also provided by AMC, which is the Australian Maritime College, which is also a sub-faculty under engineering, under our College of Science and Engineering. So AMC offers 3 levels of Bachelor's of Engineering. So if you see here, these are the 2 engineering forms. This one is with the School of Engineering and this one is with AMC. So if you see this one, the specializations would be in marine and offshore engineering over here, naval architecture and ocean engineering. Now, I do understand at the bachelor's level, getting students for these kind of very niche fields is difficult, but I can guarantee you that once a student gets into one of these forms of engineering, the growth is spectacular in their career. There are a huge number of opportunities in the field of engineering and design engineering, especially associated to maritime, which is water, shipbuilding, port design, submarine design, erecting structures on the water, oil rigs, windmills, etc. A lot of opportunity. And this opportunity comes because of Australia's unique, the availability of a water mast next to almost every major city, thereby improving the opportunity for students to get into these courses and succeed when they get into their engineering degree. Now, the other engineering, which is the Bachelor's of Engineering specialization, sorry, this one, that is a 4-year standard engineering, and that has regular specializations like civil, mechanical, electronics, and communication, electrical and electronics, and electrical power. So these ones are our standard engineering. We do get quite a few students for these particular programs because these are accredited by, professionally accredited by Engineers Australia. And also we have one of the best teaching faculties for engineering in the whole of Australia. Now at the master's level, we've got one program under AMC, which is a 2-year program, which is Masters of Engineering Maritime Design over here. This is a 2-year program. Yeah, and it's for students with a background in mechanical engineering or civil engineering. So students from either one of these two backgrounds can get into this program. A student does not have to worry about excessive amount of design work being done as a part of this program. This is a maritime engineering program primarily with a specialization in maritime design. So students with a mechanical engineering usually ask me, is there too much design work? That's not really my plus point. Civil engineers won't ask you that question because they've spent most of their time in their bachelor's degree doing design work. So uh, for a mechanical student, there are options under this particular program to swap subjects, change electives and core units along with the other engineering subjects that we offer in naval engineering and technology management, which are the next 2 degrees. The problem is these two, naval engineering and technology management, are 1.5-year degrees. So students usually don't go for them. But since they're all a part of the same faculty, a student can go for a Masters of Engineering Maritime Design and swap some of the subjects with naval engineering or technology management, or a little bit of both. It just depends upon the course coordinator's approval and for them to express this concern as, or express their desire as soon as they start their first semester. Now, the other format of engineering that's coming that I want to talk about is our general engineering programs. We have one in civil and structural and one in mechanical. So these are both master's programs, and for civil and structural, we usually have been seeing quite a huge number of students come through, but we have not seen that for mechanical. We're still exploring why, but we would like your support in expanding that base. We've known that a lot of universities that do offer mechanical engineering get a lot of good students. It's probably because the awareness is not much that we offer mechanical engineering, but I wanted to put that out there so that if you do have students who want to do a master's of mechanical engineering, we have a great course for them. So yeah. All right. The next set of programs I want to talk to you about come under School of Health, under School of Health and Medicine, under Health and Community Care. We'll skip the first two and go ahead to laboratory medicine. We've got a laboratory medicine program at the bachelor's level, only one intake a year in February, and a master's of laboratory medicine in the July intake, once again, only once a year. What is the unique part about laboratory medicine? Now, laboratory medicine is just another program like nursing or pharmacy. It is a clinical registration-based program. You get registered with AIMS, which is the Australian Institute of Medical Scientists, after you complete this particular program. The bachelor's degree is 3.5 years in length. So what this essentially means is 3 years of the student's study period will be on campus, and the final 6 months are their placement semester. And we've got limited seats for these two particular programs because of this placement factor that we offer along with the program. This placement is guaranteed at the university level, and they will be working with companies that are already registered with AIMS. They will be working as lab scientists, pathologists, urologists, etc. And they'll be working under them and with them, and getting their registered license as a laboratory scientist, a laboratory medical scientist. After this, they'll be working in clinics and hospitals. So once again, a great opportunity for students who are interested in health sciences to get into this program. There are limited seats, and it is competitive assessment for these kind of programs. So it's based on the students' profile that they get an offer letter. Throughout the year, there are 4 rounds of application. And after every round, some offers are made, and usually if within 2 weeks the student is not able to pay the fees, their offer expires. If after getting the offer letter, the student would need to go for a bank loan or something like that. They need to express to the university that they are absolutely interested in this program and they are sorting out their bank loan or whatever. And we might be able to work something out with them to block their seat for that particular intake till they can, secure that loan. So yeah, that is a little bit about laboratory medicine. We've got a master's of public health as well. Public health is pretty standard across all universities. I would say that the unique point about public health at UTAS is the cost. We're one of the least expensive or least cost programs in Australia, standing at $32,000 a year. So yeah, that's a great option for students looking at public health, one of the least expensive options. So anybody from any sort of health science background or even a pure science background with a justification as to why they want to study public health can be accepted into this particular program. So yeah, right. I'm just gonna skip through these few courses below and get into law. All right. Now, the Bachelor's of Law is the only law degree we offer. We do not have a Master's of Law. At the bachelor's level, there are two formats of the same course. There is a 4-year direct entry program and a 5-year combined degree for Bachelor's of Arts plus Bachelor's of Law. The combined degree is predominantly for the Indian students coming through because the Bar Council of India has a regulation that if a student needs to sit for the bar examinations, they need to have completed a minimum 5-year degree, which is why even in India, in law schools, you will see students doing a BBA or a BCom or something like that along with their LLB. Whereas from the other countries such as Bangladesh, Pakistan, Nepal, Sri Lanka, we've got students coming in for the direct 4-year program. The unique part of the law program that we house is our ranking. We rank in the top 60 universities in the world for law, and we're in the top 5 universities in Australia for law. Now, classically, the impression that students and parents have that their children will be studying law and then graduating and probably doing litigation work in the court, etc. That's not the case anymore. So students are now getting into all sorts of law opportunities, and UTAS's key area or key focus has always been the environmental management and marine sciences and so on. So we rank really highly there as well. That is where our key strength lies, and that's where our law degree tilts towards as well. So students who finish or are finishing their second year have an opportunity to choose what kind of law they want to study and specialize in, whether it's environmental law, marine law, whether it's corporate law, criminal law. We have about 8 to 10 different specializations that they can get into. Now, this is once again a unique opportunity for a student because they're not aware most of the times about what kind of work they can get into after they graduate. But something for you to definitely know is if you're able to identify a student who has decent English and they like to read and they're good at it, then I would definitely recommend a law program because the graduate salaries are really high and the post-settlement opportunities are really good as well. So it's a wonderful program for students to get into. So yeah. All right, coming to marine and Antarctic sciences next. Marine and Antarctic sciences is our probably highest ranked field that we cater to. In the world, we rank number 4 for marine sciences, and we rank world number 1 for freshwater biology. So what freshwater biology is anything related to fisheries, aquaculture, aqua sciences, etc. Now, this this is a unique field with us, especially because we're strategically placed in such a wonderful location that students get the optimum level of resource utilization for their investment to study this. They become global leaders in the fields of marine sciences, fisheries, aquaculture, conservation, oceanography, oceanology, and all these other things that not too many universities offer. Now, it is difficult for the South Asian community to understand what kind of opportunities that are there after such a course gets over. But if a student is interested in biological sciences, I think this is a great way ahead. Marine sciences, wonderful amounts of job opportunities in Australia, lot of work in the countries like India and Sri Lanka as well available for students interested in marine sciences. Active work going on with the government. So yeah, a lot of opportunities there. That is something that I would like you guys to make note of, in the sense that it's a great opportunity for students, and very high returns on their investment over the years. So definitely something that you could look at counseling your students who are interested in biological sciences. So yeah. All right, moving on to the next faculty, Maritime Studies. This is basically AMC. I did mention this earlier, Australian Maritime College. Now, broadly speaking, maritime is divided into three sectors. One is engineering, one is business, and the last one is seafaring. So under engineering, we had a conversation about maritime design, naval architecture, etc. And under business, we've got programs in logistics and operations and supply chain management, which all falls under either an MBA program in maritime and logistics management, or if the student doesn't want to do any maritime management, then they also have a Masters of Logistics Management advanced option. So that's the last program over here. So this program, as well as this one, are both business programs under AMC at 2 years in length. For students who want to do an MBA, they're required to have a 2 years of work experience to get into this particular program. If they don't have that, then we will be able to package the graduate certificate with that and provide it to them. And if they don't want their total course period to go above 2 years, there's a 1.5-year version as well right below over here, MBA Maritime and Logistics Management. The only difference is the word advanced. So we'll be able to package a graduate certificate of 6 months along with this 1.5-year program for those students who are interested in the MBA variety. For those who are not, as I said, Logistics Management Advanced. Now, the problem with using the word just logistics, especially in the South Asian market, is that students think or believe that they won't have the other fields of operation management catered to after this particular master's degree is completed. But that's not the case. When you're studying these degrees, you get to study about logistics, supply chain, operations, procurement, distribution, transportation, warehousing, all of it. So every single part of the supply chain is taken care of in terms of teaching. And students also have electives to specialize in if that is something they're interested in. Obviously, they've also got dissertation units with which they can become experts in that particular field of interest of specialization that they're in. So yeah, these are also programs I definitely recommend speaking to your students, because the kind of job opportunities available for students who take logistics is also much higher. So if you see students applying for just an MBA in general, like an MBA international program versus a Masters of Logistics Management, there is a higher success rate within our own university for those students who are applying for a logistics management. I'm not asking you to convince students who are not interested in logistics to get into that, but if they're open in the field of business, if they're like, yeah, you know what, I'm ready to study something that will take me further and get me a job, then it's definitely better to choose a Masters of Logistics Management than an MBA in terms of job opportunities. Because when you do an MBA, the outcomes are predominantly up to you, because you have to prove through your 2 years of education how well you've networked, the internships you've done, the connections you've made, etc., etc. Sometimes studying as well also doesn't play as big a role when it comes to an MBA as much as making good connections throughout your degree. So that's not the case with logistics management, where or supply chain, where it's more standardized, straightforward textbook education, where applying yourself is important, but definitely have an opportunity to secure jobs after you complete that particular program. The last side that I want to talk to you about under AMC is the seafaring side. Usually you will have students in the seafaring who are all merchant navies, people who have spent their lives on the sea as a part of ships, and under various contracting positions, etc. They'll usually come to you saying, we want to go to UTAS to study applied science in either marine engineering over here or applied science in nautical science. Now, there's no master's level for this, it's just a bachelor level. But how this works is the degree is structured in such a way that you study 1 year and then you go out to sea and then you work for anywhere between 18 to 24 months, and you collect that sea time requirement, because it's like a license to drive a ship, in a way, to steer the ship. So that's a basic way you can imagine it. It's obviously much more complex, but for a basic understanding, you study your first year, you go out there and you get the experience associated to that. You complete your required sea time, and then you come in for your second year, and then you go back into sea again, and so repeats till you finish your final level. So you will find people coming to you who are 35, 36 years old, and they'll be like, I want to study the third year of a bachelor's degree. This could be confusing to you if you've not handled these kind of students first. Don't turn them away in terms of GTE, because this particular field, the seafaring field, only has the bachelor degree. There is no master's. So that's the kind of students that will come to you, people who've already gone out to sea. But having said that, this is an opportunity for students who've completed their 12th grade to get into a field of study that doesn't require too much investment or pre-investment from their parents or their guardians or whoever. Let me give you an example. Let's say I am an 18-year-old student. I've just finished my 12th grade. I go to study an applied science in nautical sciences at UTAS. My parents have to pay around $35,000, let's say, for that first bit, $35,000 for that first year. After that, I go to sea to work, and it's not like an internship or something. It is fully paid. It's fully paid and paid fully in US dollars. So a student who is 19 or 20 years old, just finishing their first year, going out to sea, they're able to earn their money to save enough to come back and do their second year. So payouts are in the average of $3,000 to $4,000 a month, US dollars. So a student can very well earn and save for the next 2-3 years of their course. Even one series of sitting, probably they sail for 2 or 3 years continuously. So that's the mega advantage of this particular program. I do have questions coming in from countries that are landlocked. They ask me, what if I want to go and do this? That's not a problem. It's not a problem at all. You don't have to have a port in your country to get into this particular field. The world over, waters are shared by different countries. So you can go to UTAS, finish this, and you can be on the ship. And whenever you're done, you dock off at the nearest port, and then you go back home. That's it. It is a question that comes through, and people say that, oh, in terms of GTE, that's hard, but we've never experienced that. So students who are coming from this particular field or are interested in going into this particular field, who are young and in the 12th grade, this is a great option for them, especially if they have minimum investment available with them. They're saying that they have money only for the first year or the first 2 years. This is a great way for them to secure a field of study or a career opportunity that doesn't come by easily. And once again, UTAS is the only university in Australia that offers this option. So yeah. Sorry. All right. Going on to medicine. Now, we do have a MBBS program at the university. It's a full-time 5-year degree, and we've got a lot of applications coming in from South Asia actually, and that's why I wanted to raise this. Earlier on, we didn't have as many number of seats as we do now for medicine students, but we have been able to get approval and increase the number of seats as of 2020. So the number of applications coming through from South Asia and the acceptances as well have gone up. So if you've got students with a good percentage, then they will be eligible to get into the Bachelor's of Medicine and Surgery. Once again, this is it's not mentioned on the brochure here because this brochure was released in 2019, 2020 June, and after that, several other courses have gotten added to the list that will be offered online and with an on-campus structure when borders open up. So medicine is one of those programs, a Bachelor's of Medicine and Surgery. So yeah. Pharmacy. Now, this is a wonderful place to send your students into, because traditionally speaking, a lot of students or parents, they think that when a student completes their bachelor's of pharmacy degree, they're going to go work in commercial pharmacy or like retail pharmacy, which means they'll just be standing behind a counter all day. But that's not the case. They can work in industrial pharmacy, which is the Australian government. They can work within the regulatory systems of the government. They can go on to as I said, industrial pharmacy, where they'll be working with pharmaceutical companies, fast moving consumer good companies, food production companies, and so on. So even though the degree is called a Bachelor's of Pharmacy, and you would be eligible to get your registration after you complete this course, after sitting the Australian Pharmacy Council examinations, this course does cater to more than just retail pharmacy. And that's something that's a huge payout once, other than retail pharmacy, of course, that's a huge payout once these students graduate. Regarding pharmacy, something else I do want to tell you guys about is a lot of students from South Asia don't really think about pharmacy because I think the awareness itself tilts towards nursing predominantly. Students are always like, I want to do nursing, I want to do nursing. Yes, I understand that it's a pathway to registration and PR and all that, but pharmacy is also on the same line. So I'm not really sure why students won't think of that. It's probably a cultural thing, like, nursing is okay, but pharmacy isn't. But for your students who are not able to make that cut into nursing, who've got good academics, but not able to score that English, pharmacy requires a 6.5 and no less than 6 in the IELTS. So whereas nursing would need a 7, no less than 7. So if your students are not able to make nursing, and when you speak to them about pharmacy, they're not able to get convinced, you can always put in a request with the university for the faculty to directly interact with the student, and we would be happy to do that. Because we've found that the students who did come into pharmacy 4-5 years ago with a slight jitter about, okay, this is a course that I'm not really sure about, and they came out in flying colors, they've given us a lot of idea about what exactly it is to become a pharmacist in Australia. So yeah, it's a great opportunity for students to get into a bachelor's of pharmacy. Let me also talk to you a little bit about the Australian Pharmacy Council and how they structure their registration, because this is a little important when students ask you, so do I get a registration automatically? Do I have to go give any exams? Blah, blah, blah. So yeah, let me talk to you a little bit about the Australian Pharmacy Council. Whether a student does a bachelor's degree or a master's degree, after they've completed the respective degree, they have to work for a period of 1 year under a clinical pharmacist, whether it's in retail pharmacy, within the hospital, wherever it is. They have to work for a period of 1 year, and then they have to write APC eligibility examinations. Now, there are 4 eligibility examinations, and if by any unlucky chance that the student does not clear any one of these 4 eligibility levels, then they will be asked to sit for all 4 eligibility levels once again after a period of 6 months or so. Now, the biggest enemy of an international student completing a degree in Australia is time, because once they're done with that degree, they have a very limited amount of time to start their job, secure their PR, whatever their goals are. So if they have to work under a pharmacist for a whole year to meet that regulatory requirement, and then they have to write those examinations, it becomes a bit difficult for them to get that APC registration. Now, if on the other hand, you know, what we do is we give a bachelor's of pharmacy with applied honors. What this essentially means is we're bringing that work experience chapter into the program. So a student would be able to finish that degree in a period of 4 years and be able to also have that 1 year of work under their banner. Now, this means that they have more amount of time to work on clearing those APC examinations so that they can get their registration. This is not the case with the master's students across Australia because no university in Australia combines that 1 year. Some universities do for their bachelor's of pharmacy like us, but no university does that at the master's level, and neither do we. It's not practical in a 2 year program to bundle up another 1 year of work experience for them. So it doesn't make any sense. So what happened a couple of years ago is that a lot of students who studied a master's of pharmacy reported back or had to come back to India, and they said that come back to South Asia, their respective home countries, and they said that it was really unfortunate that they couldn't clear their examinations, and now they're left with a master's of pharmacy or clinical pharmacy in a country that doesn't really value a pharmacy degree unless you get into industrial pharmacy in South Asia, where if you work with big multinational companies over here, it doesn't really make sense for you to have that degree. So what we did at UTAS is we are offering a pharmacy degree, but we don't even recommend at the master's level you go for that. Instead, I would recommend going for the Masters of Pharmaceutical Science. Do make note, pharmaceutical science is not a clinical registration degree. It is an industrial medical science degree, which means that students after they graduate a Masters of Pharmaceutical Science cannot apply for registration, but it is a better serving in a way because after they complete this degree, there are a huge variety of opportunities in pharmaceutical companies and FMCG companies that these guys have not tapped into. When we spoke to industry experts, they themselves said that, we employ students who have a background in microbiology and chemistry and biotechnology, but we don't have anyone with a specified pharmaceutical science kind of knowledge unless and until they've done a master's by research in a super specific field. So that's when we created this program about 7 years ago, the Masters of Pharmaceutical Science. It's unique to University of Tasmania. No other university in Australia offers it. It's a 2 year degree where the first year is coursework and the second year is research. So this way, the companies know that they are employing research analysts and associates at a very high level of research who have completed a very high level of research and are able to cater to the needs of the company. So that's where we stand in terms of pharmaceutical science. So what I'm recommending here is when you look at a bachelor student, yes, a bachelor's of pharmacy, a bachelor's of clinical pharmacy at UTAS, because of the way the course is structured, because they get to save time, because the course is bundled with the work experience. Whereas at the master's level, going for a pharmaceutical science is better because time is of the essence for these students, and a master's of pharmacy would not really, I mean, if that's their goal, they should go for that, but they're not really aware of the science side of things. So that is where we come into play, and we need to make these students who have a bachelor's or a background in pharmacy already. So in India, from India, for example, and from other countries as well, we accept students with a B Pharm, an M Pharm, or a PharmD. So these are 4, 5, and 6 year courses that are done in India. And we accept all of them as a background for a Master's of Pharmaceutical Science. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys, and that's where, like, pharmacy, and that's one of the key areas that you can recruit for without much difficulty, because we're unique over there, and no other university offers that particular style of pharmaceutical science. So yeah, okay. Last but not the least, science and environment programs. Now, as I said earlier, UTAS has a flair for, or is keyly, has a key standing in the world for environmental sciences, life sciences, earth sciences, etc. We've got a huge number of programs and specializations under these programs, both at the bachelor's as well as the master's level. So to give you a simple idea, I don't want to dive into super deep details, but to give you a simple idea, agriculture, environmental science, earth science, geographical science, microbiology, wildlife study, zoology, botany, literally everything is covered under this particular sector. Um, the applied sciences at the master's level, all these programs are of a slightly higher entry requirement because they have, because of the rankings that the university holds in these particular fields, as well as the research component that is there as a part of these programs. So you will be receiving from Yes Group the entry requirement sheet for both the bachelor's as well as the master's level. So you can always guide your students based on that. Now, what I want to tell you a little bit about these particular programs is that all of these programs are high employability programs, because most of the times we have a department or a organization that we're directly associated with. For example, let's take agriculture. Now, agriculture, we have an organization called Tasmanian Institute of Agriculture in Tasmania. Now, this was an organization that was developed by both the university and the government of Tasmania. And what happens here is, before a student goes out into the world of agriculture, whatever their specialization is, whether it's horticulture, food science, soil science, whatever it is, they have the opportunity to directly move after their degree is completed to go and do some research work, which is work at Tasmanian Institute of Agriculture, gain work experience, and go deeper into the field of their interest. So similarly, we've got associate organizations for almost all these applied science programs, and that's where our key strength lies. For all these programs, we rank in the world top 50. For agriculture and forestry in specific, we rank in the world top 30 universities. So yeah, great opportunity for your students. And as I said, slightly higher entry requirement because of the rankings. But yeah, if your students meet these entry requirements and get in, so it's a wonderful opportunity for them to progress onwards. Once again, you'll see that the planning degree is mentioned over here. As I said earlier, it's not just the Department of Architecture that houses planning. Students with a background in environmental sciences or even an interest towards environment and geography can get into this as well. So yeah, these are our programs that we're currently offering as a part of our university structure. That kind of brings us to the end of the courses. What I want to tell you about quickly are the scholarships. Right now, we've got only one scholarship, which is the Tasmanian International Scholarship. It's a very, very generous scholarship, standing at 25% of the overall tuition fee, whatever the course duration is. That scholarship is only not available for MBBS. It's available for all the other programs, be it bachelor's or master's. And it does come in only for students who have achieved a better academic merit score than the standard entry requirement. I'm not talking about these programs. These programs with a higher entry requirement, most of the times the students are already scholarship eligible. But the ones with the standard entry, like logistics management and engineering and stuff like that, a slightly higher mark or a score would enable them to get the 25% scholarship. In terms of GTE, we are looking at diversification, and we would appreciate that students from all across the countries come through. I know a lot of students are coming from the Punjab Haryana region right now, and if we could diversify even that category of students in the form of coursework offerings, that would be helpful for them in the long run. Because right now, if every second student is going to come into a bachelor's of business or an MBA, it's just going to become saturated in terms of the learning capacity and the job opportunities in the future. So it would be wiser for these students to actually choose other niche programs with similar course effect or similar amount of effort to graduate those programs, so that they can get through smoothly. Other GTE things that I would like for you to keep in place is avoid married students, because most of the times the students who are married and coming through, um, they tend to not stick around at the university for a long time. They usually hop after the first semester is done. So I would request you to avoid bringing in or counseling married students for UTAS at all. Other than that, not much else. The financial documentation, etc., comes through as a requirement along with the offer letter, so that's all fine. What else do I need to talk to you about? Of course, yes, pathway opportunities. Now, for almost all our bachelor degree programs, we do have pathway opportunities. Um, any course that a student doesn't meet entry requirement to, or wants to have a slightly lesser starting first year expense, or a student who just hasn't received the 25% scholarship, all of them can apply for foundation study programs or diplomas. We've got diplomas leading to business, we've got diploma leading to engineering, diploma leading to sciences, and diploma leading to IT. So those are the 4 options available. Now, why that's a good option, or why it's a strong counseling opportunity for us, is that when a student doesn't meet the scholarship requirement, and the friend does, let's say, A and B are applying to UTAS, A gets the 25% scholarship going for a bachelor's of global logistics management, whereas B does not. They can always apply for a diploma leading to that, because if they do well in their diploma, the 25% scholarship will kick in from year 2 and year 3. And the diploma is anyway effectively cheaper than the bachelor degree. So it's like he or she have had the scholarship the entire time anyway. So that's one more unique positioning that we at the university have, which is the diploma pathways. Essentially does not increase the time of study, the overall course duration, I mean, and also enables a student who has not received a scholarship earlier to receive the scholarship for their second and third year. So yeah, these are the key points I wanted to talk to you about, as well as the course information has been given out. So yeah, at the end of this, I'll send through, the Yes Education group will send through to you all the details about entry requirements and this particular brochure that I have, I will send that over as well, so that you can use this to counsel the students. Now, this is the June release. This brochure was released in June. We have updated the number of courses we have. Most likely in another 2 to 3 weeks, the new brochure with the updated course offerings will be released. So that is available. Yeah.
Thank you, Sanjay, for your really useful and comprehensive presentation. I think our partners and also my colleagues, they find really useful information regarding the courses. And yeah, it's the truth that most of our colleagues and our partners, they just try to sell conventional courses. But in addition to that, UTAS provides so many applied courses and also interdisciplinary courses, which are really useful for students in order to get job, or it's helpful for them for the future career. So I request our partners and our team also to counsel their students about the other courses or the applied courses or the interdisciplinary courses that could be useful for them, not only the generic courses or conventional course we have been counseling. And so yeah, that's really important. And I would like to request our partners, if they have any questions, to um, write in the Q&A box. I can already see one question in Q&A box. Our partner has asked, could you please also explain humanities group as well, especially tourism? Sanjay, could you please elaborate a little bit on this?
Yeah, sure. So the Masters of the Cultural Heritage, is that the program they're asking about?
Yeah, I think in the group, humanities group, maybe.
Yeah, I'm just getting it. So this one, tourism, environmental, and cultural heritage. Yeah, so we do have the 1.5-year masters that we're offering for tourism, environmental, and cultural heritage. And under humanities, we're also offering the bachelors of arts. So bachelors of arts, we've got about 25 different specializations, almost everything under the sun. but once again, Bachelor's of Arts has always been seen or used as a easy entry point into the university rather than for students who are genuinely interested in studying things like international relations, policies, etc. So there is nothing much to explain about the Bachelor's of Arts. It's a self-selling program in a way. So
Exactly.
not much to
Yeah.
say. People who want to study heritage, history, language, things like that, they get into the program. Not a very commonly taken up course since 2021, actually, from South Asia. But recently, we've seen a huge spike in applications for that, and more than more than making us happy, it's giving us a cause for concern.
Okay. Sanjay, what are the major popular courses for South Asia,
For South
South
Asia,
Asian
it's
students?
predominantly science, engineering, and health, and some programs from AMC.
Okay.
Because engineering and business, some programs also fall under the AMC. But these are the most famous programs. It's just that right now, after the pandemic is kicked in, we've seen that a lot of students, more number of students, are applying for general degrees like IT and business. The diversity has reduced. But I think that the students who are genuinely interested in going abroad to study, uh, they'd come to UTAS to study sciences and engineering. That's the and health medicine. Yeah, those are the key programs or the popular ones that we have a huge demand for per se.
Here is one question in our chat box. He has asked, what about BDS program? How about BDS?
So we don't
Does
offer
UTAS provide bachelor's in dental surgery?
So we don't offer dentistry, but if the question is if a BDS student can come into public health, then yes, a BDS student can come into public health. But we don't offer a dentistry program at the university now.
Okay. Um, I have one personal question. For the MBBS student, are the graduate with MBBS degree, are they eligible to practice in Australia?
Yeah, they are. So how MBBS works in Australia is that now give me 2 minutes to explain this. Now, how it works in Australia is that some universities offer their courses as 3 years Bachelor's of Science plus 4 years Doctor of Medicine, and some universities offer a full 5 year direct MBBS.
Mm-hmm.
Universities offering it as 3 plus 4 call it Doctor of Medicine, but Doctor of Medicine in our region in South Asia means something else. Whereas in Australia, it means something else. In Australia, an MD means it's exactly the same as an MBBS, just has additional research work. So the level at which an MBBS and an MD are graduating are exactly the same. Now, in countries like India, for example, just for example, how the system of MBBS is structured is the university where the student would go to study their MBBS is attached to a hospital. The hospital is also the university. So they would do their studies, practice at that respective hospital, and then they would give their NEET exam to go to the masters, or they would, whatever, they would get their licensing and progress onwards. And at the same university, they will also study their MD, which is their specialization, whether they want to do neurosurgery or ear, nose, throat specialization, or that they want to study, osteoarisis, which is bone study, whatever it is, the specializing will happen after that 5-6 years of MBBS. And in Australia, uh, how it works is the MBBS or the MD, which is the initial part of the study, is done at universities, at public universities. Then they go and work 1 year in a hospital. So whether in a public government hospital, not in a private hospital, public government hospital for 1 year. And then Australia has something called specialty colleges. And there's only one of each in different parts of the country. There's one Australian specialty college for heart. There is one for the eye. There is one for the brain. So after MBBS or MD and some work experience, these students will go and apply to the specialty college. So the environment itself is completely different. So yeah. One more good question you brought up, MBBS. One more common question that students and parents ask me from India and Sri Lanka also, mainly India though, is that is the MBBS at UTAS recognized by the Medical Council of India? It's not necessary to be recognized by the Medical Council of India because the Medical Council of India was scrapped in 2017. Medical Council of India does not exist. Currently, there is no body itself that exists in India that governs, a permanent body that governs or regulates MBBS and hospitals associated to education and training. There is a body that is going to come in the next, it started establishing, it's going to be fully established very soon. It's called the National Medical Association, or NMA, or National NMC, National Medical Commission. That's the one that's coming in India. National Medical Commission. That's not yet come. It's going to come in the next couple of months and going to be fully established. These are the guys who are going to be sitting as a regulatory body for MBBS in India. Now, what I tell these parents is what NCB has already announced, this National Medical Commission, NMC, sorry. They've already announced that whether the student studies in India, whether the Indian student has studied abroad and comes back to India, whether it's a foreign national studying MBBS somewhere else and wants to practice in India, there is going to be one standard examination called NEXT, which is the National Exit Test. It's all announced, but it's not in function yet. So only when a student writes this national exit test can they do two things. One, sit for their next postgraduate examination, postgraduate degree according to the marks, or apply for their medical license based on the marks that they have scored. So this is going to be the new system in India. So if students ask you, is UTAS MBBS registered with Medical Council India, you just say that the world has changed and it's not the same anymore, and this is the new regulation. I could send you an article probably about this that explains this in detail, that you can bookmark and keep. So if any of the partners ask you MBBS in India, what's the scene, MBBS from UTAS, cross-registered in India, I can send this across to you, and you can share it with the partners.
Thank you. Understood. I can see Ram Rai has raised his hand. Ram, can you please unmute yourself and ask your question? Okay. By the time he asks his question, let me see if there are any more questions. Yes, Sanjay. Yeah, I can see like there are so many options for the international students in University of Tasmania. Not only management or IT, also other courses in the STEM courses like science and technology courses. So they have so many options in UTAS, and I believe our partners will see all those courses and counsel their students to apply for these courses, which are really useful. As you have explained, Masters of Pharmaceutical Science, which is really useful for science graduates with their background in health science, and to get industrial or industrial medicine experience in Australia. Also public health course, which is the cheapest option in Australia in UTAS, just $32,000 Australian dollar. And I think if the student is eligible, they still get 25% scholarship. So that would be even more cheaper. Yeah, these are all the courses our partners can counsel to their students. Also professional engineering, our partners from Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and India, they can also suggest courses in professional engineering. Yeah, that's all from my side. Ramzi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I think he said that he accidentally raised his hand. It's fine.
Oh, okay. Okay, no problem. Yeah, that's all from my side. And I can see more questions from our partners. So thank you so much, Sanjay, for your time. Your presentation was really detailed. I think that was all we're looking for. This we didn't know many things about the courses before in detail. So this is really useful presentation you did today. So thank you for your time. We really appreciate your time. Yep, thank you so much. And thank you everyone for attending this presentation. And if you have any questions, please feel free to contact our team member or me or anyone from our S Education team. and we look forward to meet you in another training session. So everyone, take care and stay safe. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks.
Thank you, Sanjay. Thank you once again.
Take care. Bye.